Button all jets. Recording started.
After a close call in their own end.
Well, Roberto Luongo had an issue with a puck like that in Philadelphia earlier on this road trip. Another simple little dump into the zone that goes off a stanchion of the glass, and if Dubnyk just leaves and anticipates it's going in behind, I don't know if he gets back. He's 6'5", he can get back from anywhere. Where they force this young Oilers team into mistakes and then feast on those. And for Edmonton, use your asset, speed and aggression.
Recording resumed.
As they continue to have trouble getting out of their own zone.
Well, Saturday night in the National Hockey League, and not a lot of tourists on the forecheck in this game. You get a chance to get in and get a lick on a defenseman. They're doing so. Well, Patty wiped out after the initial charge in. Tried to just get it to the front of the net. I think you're going to see more and more of what the Canucks would like to do. Puck.
Listen to this crowd as they announce Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the third goal in 3 games. Samuelson, and they push and shove after the whistle. Will take an opportunity to remind you Powerhouse Sundays kick off with an all-new Heartland, followed by the Battle of the Blades performance show and Cover Me Canada. It all starts tomorrow at 7 on CBC. You know that kid line when they played together for the first time in the preseason against Phoenix? Nugent-Hopkins had a goal and 2 assists for 3 points, and Taylor Hall had 2 goals
Current time
and
0
assists
hours,
for
1
3
minute.
points. And Tom Rennie was saying he really loves the synergy of these young guys.
The more they can play in the attack.
Hopkins with his second of the night and third
For the Oilers, killing penalties with 2 forwards in a 5-on-3, 2 forwards and 1 defenseman.
Right.
A lot of teams will go with the 2 defensemen and 1 forward up top. They got outmanned around the net on an ugly, ugly goal that the Canucks think is gorgeous.
Current time 0 hours, 1 minute 48.
And has this game knotted back up.
Top will be in the Vancouver zone.
Up and down they go. See the foot speed of Taylor Hall to get back. I mean, he went giddy up to put some heat on the back end. That's him, number 4, right in front of the net. That's how number 4 used to look here in Edmonton back in the day. Defending, skating backwards, and then they take it the other direction. They're a fun group of young kids, pretty brazen. They're building something here in Edmonton with this crew.
They sure hope Taylor Hall is the second coming of Mark Manson.
Recording.
Goal line. So it's his first National Hockey League hat trick.
Cody Hodgson, who's actually played better and better, it seems like, as the games have wore on here in the early season for the Vancouver Canucks, getting a great opportunity with Ryan Kessler still on the shelf. Good in those slick, short bursts. He's healthy again. He's in terrific shape. Confidence is starting to build. I think those playoffs for him in the spring wins from neutral ice up the stick of Omar. They seem to get unnerved a little bit, maybe with that late second period goal, and haven't really gotten back to their game. And when you've got a mature team like the Canucks that are trying to get their game together, you know, this, you could feel this game devolve down into
the stick of Chris Letang, and he'll hang on to it.
Well, Devin Dubnyk comes in here looking like the backup from last year, but had a terrific preseason. And for Tom Rennie right now, he wants to go with a hot hand. He wants to go and give players the opportunity that earned that role. Nikolai Habibulin came in, had a good camp as well, but they felt Devin. Well, another look at that goal by Chris Letang from the blue line. You'll notice Chris Kunitz in front. Great job to kind of distract Dubnyk just enough, making it look like he was going to deflect this puck up. Therefore, Dubnyk is not playing the low shot as hard. He's waiting past from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and he's really starting to feel it. And this is one of the things you love about an 18-year-old coming. Nice little dish through traffic, follows it up to get to an area and has a terrific chance. Buys his time, looks for a hole, tries to sneak it through under the arm of Johnson. Right here, look at these hands. Quick little pass right on the tape, creates another solid opportunity for Edmonton. So
You're right on the doorstep. Devin Dubnyk decides to hang on to that puck.
a little bit of a slower start here. The first period was a little feel-out session. Pittsburgh really putting the gas on early, and then Edmonton responding well in the latter half of that first period. In the second period here, a little bit more of a feel-out session once again. Well, a good job by Edmonton to keep things to the outside. Matt Cook takes a little pick-off in the neutral zone, goes wide, is waiting for a seam to open up. He's trying to cross-pass it through. But a good job by Petrie to block it down, and Dubnyk with a couple saves from wide stands his ground.
They'll hang on to it. The Oilers get their 16th shot of this game to tie it with the Penguins, and Johnson took that one in the throat.
Yeah, and a real good quick release here by Jordan Eberle, and where he's been so effective and gets it off the wall. Good forecheck established by Edmonton. They turn the puck over, take it to the net. Johnson gets way outside the crease and makes that save. Eberle wasn't too happy. He's pretty dialed in from that direction usually. I think he got a little away from him. But a good chance created once again. After a while, gets himself up and gets himself to the bench afterwards. Of those stinging pain ones that last for a while. But Ladislav Schmid has done that a couple times tonight already, and why you love watching him play for the Oilers, and they're happy to have him back healthy. He's willing to pay
Johnson.
But no keep.
And he didn't take any chances. You never know.
Yeah, that one had a little English on it. It bounced quickly just before hitting to Johnson. So we've seen this before from Linus Ullmark. He likes to throw a puck in on the net, bobble it on purpose. The goaltender can't handle it. He picks it up and tucks it in. He scored a goal like that last year. Had an assist in preseason, the same thing. So this is kind of a planned play by him, but Johnson's smart enough to stay with this one, use the whole body and make the save.
Belanger against Park.
Recording resumed.
Getting it together and capitalizing.
The glove on that, and he'll hang on. Let's take a look at tonight's lineup, brought to you by Boston Pizza.
Well, we thought there was going to be a couple changes in both lineups tonight, as they had multiple bodies dressed extra just in case of injuries. Patrick Hornqvist was questionable coming into the game, but he will play tonight for Nashville, and Theo Peckham will be a healthy.
And a high stick ends the proceedings.
Well, great work once again down low by this line, and a real good effort to keep Suter and Weber on the ice a little longer than they wanted to be. Great chance created down low by Smith out to Jones on the backhand, and Pecorine gets down and makes a terrific save as it comes through. But a 2-on-1 on the half wall, and Sean, I'm sure if this was over the line to begin with. This is very similar to the hat-trick goal for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on Saturday as it was dribbling through. And Wilson says, I'm going to make sure this one crosses the line, and pounds it home.
And that causes the offside.
Well, a nice little burst shown there by Hopkins to get it through as Jordan Eberle. Little trouble setting up here for the Oilers power play when this threesome, especially with Sean Horkoff out there as well, gets the puck set up in the offensive zone. They can do dangerous things, but they weren't able to do that. Some solid penalty killing there by the Nashville Predators to keep them at.
Safeway's featured participating product for tonight's hockey game is Post Shreddies.
Sounds like a post-game meal.
Anytime meal. A little less shots in the second period for both sides. 3 aside. Through over.
Pass, but no keep.
Linus Ullmark getting rocked a little bit there as that puck comes around, but it's amazing the poise. And we talk about Devin Dubnyk a lot and how big he is and how poised he is. Pecorine no different. And as you mentioned, 29 or more wins in the last 3 years. And here's Devin Dubnyk, a young goaltender coming up that would like to step in and be very similar to Peck.
Sean Horkoff picks up the other helper, and we're tied at 1. Veteran line has 5 points here in the third period.
Players. Andy Sutton got his
Current
stick
time
in the
0
line.
hours 8 minutes 19.
Well, we invite you, as always, to join the conversation during the evening. Send us your questions and comments via Twitter. The hashtag is NYR. And also, send your questions for Ryan Callahan. He will be with Dave Maloney at the end of the first period. So join us throughout the evening as we put Twitter to use on a Saturday night.
Smith went down, and the fans were looking for a penalty, and none was called.
So Belanger, PRV, and Gagne on for the Oilers. Dubinsky.
Belanger was another one of those free agent signings that Kevin Lowe talked about. They were 30th in the league last year in face-off winning percentage, and that was one of the reasons why they signed.
His own, and Rupp had an opportunity from in close and missed. With 7:11 remaining here in the second period, Oilers out shooting the Rangers 19-9 and leading New York 1-0.
I think John Tortorella he's trying to get a couple of lines going offensively for the Rangers, and to me that's why he made the move and put Gaborik on that line with Anisimov. See if he could spark that line.
He gets himself in the right positions. That's a pretty good goal.
One of the greatest improvements for Edmonton in the power play has been the recovery of loose pucks and those loose puck battles. And every time that puck went into the corner, Edmonton was first on it. They get it back. They get chances to the net. Great job by Horkoff in front to create a presence in front of Luongo. And a couple post hit. This sharp angle shot from Hopkins does hit the bar. Taylor Hall tries to.
Current time 0 hours 9 minutes.
Ready to sell? RE/MAX agents have the experience to get the job done
Mark,
in today's
pause.
market. Visit remax.ca today.
Brian Whitney just went together right in front of Luongo. And the net came off.
And that's one of those situations for Cam Barker driving down. Nice to see him getting up in the rush. As Taylor Hall just kind of throws it into the traffic here, realizing he has a body in front. And crashing through Alexander Edler into Roberto Luongo. Not enough to take a penalty, but enough to get his point across as the net comes off once again. But good job by Hall to stay with that loose puck and get it to an area where he knows he has someone in the danger zone.
Fourth line is out there now for both teams.
Recording resumed.
First goal of the season.
Through the stick, it's a little bit of a rise out of the puck up over top of the shoulder of Khabibulin. So good pressure by the Canucks. They have one chance that was thwarted by Ladislav Schmid with a good stick, but they stay with the puck and he eventually finds his way in the back of the net. So they're clawing themselves back into this game. And that goal by Cody Hodgson.
They have outshot the Oilers 9-4 here in the second period. The Oilers still have a 2-goal advantage.
A long shift there in the offensive zone. They're allowed to pull their goalie. And with 1:04, Corey Schneider will stay on the bench.
Here's
Recording resumed. Current time 0 hours
among
11.
the top 3 when it comes to blocks in the NHL. On the Toyota League leaderboard, these two teams do it and do it well when it comes to goals against average.
Fewest goals allowed. Take a look at the Edmonton Oilers, tied with the Kings. The Rangers really very good in their own zone because of Lundqvist. The Stars is surprised. Penguins under 2, and the Caps sitting right at 2. The big surprise is the Oilers, who a team last year allowed a ton of goals, and that was one of the...
We hear the whistle. We have a bunch of guys out there, #1 overall picks running
Current
around.
time 0 hours 11 minutes 57.
And we're going to
Pause.
compare each of them, their first 8 games. Nugent Hopkins, you look at the goals, 8 points. Taylor Hall, 8 points, but a minus player. And there's Alex in his first 8 career games, outdoing both of them by a couple of points, but you can just see
His campaign. Parked on the doors. Beware of Edmonton's youngsters. They call this trio, they're thinking about calling him, the lottery line.
Yeah, new kids on the block. There's a whole bunch of names people are throwing around. I like the lottery line. Hall, Nugent Hopkins, Eberle. You see those numbers. They were also part of the 4-on-3 power play goal. All 3 were on the ice. They've now contributed 9 of the 19 goals that Rennie's team has scored.
Being the fine Canadian that you are,
Recording.
on a Thursday night. For those of you jumping on board with us, the Suzuki game summary reads out like this.
Cap's been in the box way too often, but Alsner has struck his first goal of the season, and it was a wonderful shot from the blue line. Blew it top shelf. Jordan Eberle, a goal and assist tonight. Cap's out shooting the Oilers in a big way. The Oilers getting the break from the official. 10 minutes separates these two teams. That's 5 power plays when you break it down.
It went high and out of play.
Yeah, and Khabibulin quickly gives Plante a nice pat on the rear end after helping him out in front. But for Khabibulin, he is so good down low. He's got tremendous legs and strength, so he gets that pat out low. Shot by Jackman. I think that was meant for a rebound, and it did. Off the left pad, right to Steen. And Steen, who's got
here at 5:38 from Nugent. A shot, and that was blocked. He comes back in offside.
You know, before the game, the Blues were talking about being physical against the young kids, and Taylor Hall last year faced the wrath of Barrett Jackman a number of times. Jackman came into this building and just played an outstanding game. Here, Shattenkirk reads it, bang! A real clean hit there by Kevin Shattenkirk on Hall. Entire replay from Edmonton, Alberta will show on the right side Langenbrunner. See the position of the goaltender. He doesn't actually use his stick. He's given 5-hole here from ice level. You see the nice hard low shot. Gets right down there. Easily takes that away. No rebound because there's nobody else driving hard to the net. He can't get there because Sam Gagne is there. Now he's between the legs of Petrie and right under the bar and in. A wicked wrister. Short side high, which is really unique because Khabibulin didn't cheat. He didn't go down on his knees. He stayed up on his. He stayed up. Yaroslav Halak. I like Halak's game. He's only not facing very many shots. But this one gets through. Now it's bobbling, and there's Eager right on the doorstep, and he boots it high and wide. Eager played last year with the San Jose Sharks, won a Stanley Cup.
And the Blues will come back with this fourth line.
Well, this week on the Fox Sports Midwest Prep Zone, we kick off the state football playoffs. Find the schedule of live streaming games at foxsportsmidwest.com and watch our weekly show on Fox Sports Midwest Wednesday at 6. Fox Sports Midwest brings high school football home to you. Horkoff and Smith have scored for the Oilers. David Backus. They'll whip it back to the Oilers.
At home against Washington. Well, with the Blues getting sloppy in their own zone, I mean, Yaroslav Alaks had to come up with some real good save just to keep this a 4-1 game.
And that was tipped away by Corey Potter.
Well, we'll see what Davis Payne does now, who he fires out there, and he's going to go Sobotka, D'Agostini, and Oshie. So he's going to make a real big change here. Looks like he's going to put the big bodies of Berglund, Backus, and Stewart together. And that would put Backus on the wing, whereas we know in his career he's been an effective power forward as a winger. Boy, David Backus was barreling down the right side, and he had Chris Stewart just behind him. Didn't see him there. Otherwise, Stewart's got it right in the wheelhouse. I think there's a certain comfort level that David Backus has patrolling the boards. And for a big man, he's a guy that, you know, a goal line to goal line game every single night, especially when you don't have it. If you don't have those legs, man, that's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot.